Everyone, my name is Rahi. Here is my team: Vilad, Felice, Sadiq. My our mentors are Professor Vandalowski and Professor Alan LSQ. Uh, our main objectives of this project since summer ones are first to learn these technologies, which are Python, Linux, NLTK, which is Natural Language Toolkit, Hyperledger Composer, which is which is our set automated record keeping system, DB2 database. Second, implementing our Grace AI on Linux 1 mainframe, and using GitLab, which is our privately set platform to keep our codes all together. Third is to keep our codes up to date in GitLab and work along with our Hyperledger Composer. Our fourth main objective is to use sound input on image rec using USB mic. Now something about our technologies we used. For hardware, we used IBM Z Mainframe operating system. Then on summer one, we were using Raspberry Pi, speaker and microphone. For softwares, we used Hyperledger, DB2 database for storing user queries, questions, and Grace response to those questions as answers. Natural Language Toolkit, NLTK, voice rec library to analyze spoken words and feed data to NLTK, Grace code algorithm to use to train and generate output. Now let me forward Sadiq to explain more about the technologies we use.
So what is blockchain? Blockchain is a ledger that supports the life cycle of transactions and can be updated and viewed by the participants depending on their roles. And this is a highly secure environment, and it actually helps to reduce the discrepancies, and it's very efficient in time-wise. And next slide. Here are the real-world use cases, and many companies actually trying to implement the blockchain data structure on their businesses actually. So IBM, for example, right now, in one of the examples here, supply chain example right here, they implemented the blockchain with Walmart. So they're trying to help their business with that. And the other example could be an AIG right there. So can you go to the next one? Yeah. So what is artificial intelligence? And many of you guys actually were familiar with this word, artificial intelligence. And it is a bunch of machine learning routines that goes to the rules engine, and the more it executes, it gets better and learn the behaviors. And so like it's basically imitate. I forgot the third one.
Trying to imitate
human actions, right? And so this is the recent AIs that we have, and we have, as you can see, that there are a variety of AI products out there: the productivity, customer management, and then finance.
We have achieved certain accomplishments to date. When we started working with IBM Mainframe, it came installed with Linux 1, and Linux 1 doesn't meet our requirements, so we had to modify and install other programs to meet our Grace requirements. So we did that. We had to create a blockchain on the Hyperledger framework, we needed to do this because while it does provide a framework, it doesn't have our specific requirements in there. So we modified it to our Grace requirements. We also created a REST API. REST API is how Grace communicates with you and how you can communicate with Grace. So every time you send something over the internet to Grace, it uses the REST API, and Grace uses the same API to communicate back to you. And then we also had to build a communication between Grace AI and blockchain on the mainframe. So when Grace receives data, it has to communicate with the blockchain and vice versa. We had to use a Raspberry Pi so we can communicate with Grace instead of using the computer, because the Pi is a lot smaller. So it has greater uses. And we had to do certain integration testing on all these components during each implementation after to complete a whole test. So the Raspberry Pi has a microphone which is connected via USB, like Rahi said. It uses a voice recognition parser, so when you speak, it converts to text, and that gets sent to the NLTK, which kind of breaks it up into computer-friendly terms. Grace AI, that gets passed to Grace AI and DB2 database, which handles the data. Grace AI can later send it to the speaker, so it can speak the output to you, so you don't have to read it. It's a lot more user-friendly. And over here, you see Grace having like a feedback loop, which is where it trains itself based on, so every time you talk to it, it starts to train itself. And then it sends it to Hyperledger blockchain for secure storage. And we have a GIF demonstration of the chatbot using keyboard, not mic and voice.
Okay, so the goals for summer 2 were to incorporate a lot of these different subroutines into a larger list of tasks for Grace and subsequent programs to accomplish. One of these, which is especially useful for finance, is to send a crawler, a small program that's used to search for data on certain websites and download them, to scrape, what's the same thing as crawling, to scrape and extract information such as stock prices, volume for stocks, and opening, closing prices, and other things and other variables for the stock. Download them, structure them into a Grace-friendly format, and then send that to the Hyperledger for storage, and then send that to our fully formatted database for further analysis. As you can see by this graph, our unstructured data and semi-structured data from different sources are going to be fed into Grace, and Grace will try and automatically reformat them into a format that is very friendly and very searchable for our Hyperledger. And then we connect that to our database, and this reference database has an API of its own, so that way everybody, the public, can have access to our database as a read-only format. So you can say, hey, I want Apple stock from 2012 to 2016. Can you send me that information? And Grace will say, okay, would you like it in CSV for spreadsheets or JSON for programmers? And it will happily send it your way. Next. And then this is a small video of a program that I wrote that will do the back-end analysis and then subsequent predictions. It's very quick, and after all of this is said and done, it will print out a very long list of graphs and subsequent analysis and predictions for not just predicting its own graph and plots, but also for predicting the future. And then that's the video version, in case the GIF messed up.